Straight all day.
You're now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That's the go-getter energy that moves all of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of wait for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, techniques, all underneath the umbrella of one unifying philosophy that is called work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is how to take control, yes, control of your schedule. For any of you who feels like you are overworking yourself or you are being overworked by the demands of whoever is around you or whatever is around you or whatever you have allowed to come into your world and be around you, we're going to help address that, or at least get started on addressing it here today. So before we get into that, first of all, let me tell you that I have a daily motivation text message that I send out free of charge to everyone who's in my text community. I know you want to receive that text. All you got to do to get it is, and confirm my belief, is text me at my number, which is 305-384-6894. Those texts are free of charge, straight to your phone every single day, guaranteed to keep you focused, sharp, and on point. Now, let's get into this topic. Again, the number again, 305-384-6894. It is listed down below in the show notes as well, just in case you got a short memory. Now, taking control of your schedule. This is the subject of time and mastering your schedule and taking control of your time. Not just managing your time, but taking control of your time is something that we have talked about numerous times here on the show. I got so many episodes where I've talked about time. I'm not even going to list them all for you. But when it comes to taking control of time, I will mention episode 1412. Early is on time is late, and late is forgotten. Episode 1666, we talked about putting the time in. Episode 1944, we talked how to slow time down. Episode 2126, not that long ago, we talked about how to be more efficient with your time. That was actually just about a week ago. Episode 33, from way back in 2016, why you need to value time over money. Episode 45, how to stop wasting and filling time with meaningless work. Anytime you are just wasting and filling time doing stuff that is not really useful and productive for your long-term success. And I'll give you one more. Episode 219. The question is, why am I spending time with you? This is a question of you just assessing and evaluating who should you be investing your time with, because we know our 5 forms of investment: time, money, attention, energy, focus. Not everybody gets the same amount of time. We talked about this in, I believe it was episode 1030, where we talked about the 3 levels of people and how do you decide who you're going to stick around with. And this is the 2-minute person, the 2-hour person, and the 2-day person. And not everybody is at the same level. And you got to decide who are you going to spend time with. It is the levels of associations. Let me get that episode for you, because that one is very important. Episode 1058, limiting your associations, 3 levels of people. So all of those are listed down below in the show notes. So since we talk about time so much here, I want to tell you why. It is your most valuable asset. When you run out of money, you can make more money. As long as you have time, you can make money. You run out of energy, you can go to sleep, take a nap. All right, go sit down somewhere, you'll get more energy back. You run out of attention or focus, go do something for fun, go take a nap, go to sleep again, same thing, you can get more attention and focus back. You run out of time, the game's completely over. Time is the only one of those assets you can completely be out of, and you can't come back from it. You come back from all the other ones being at 0. If you have lost some control of your time, though, right now in your life, and you feel like you don't have control of it, let me give you some ways to start getting it back. Point number 1. Today's topic, once again, is how to take control of your schedule. First thing is the first thing: priorities. Priorities are the king and queen of your schedule. They're the king and the queen of your schedule. What is a priority? Priority comes from, actually, I'm not even going to tell you where it comes from. First of all, let's just get into what does the word priority mean, so that we're all on the exact, we all want to be on the exact same page here. Priority, a thing that is regarded as more important than another. So the priority of your schedule, the priority of your to-do list, is the thing that is more important than all the others. All right, that's what priority is. The noun version of priority is the fact or condition of being regarded or treated as more important. So what are your priorities? because your priorities cannot be the king and queen of your schedule if you don't actually have any. So if you got 20 things on your to-do list right now, then you need to go through your to-do list. You need to literally do this and decide what is the number one priority, what's number two, what's number three. Put them in order so that you know what the most important thing is, the next most important, the next most important, next most important. This will help you organize your schedule. And then once you have the schedule organized like that, or at least you have the to-do list, the items organized, then you need to put them in a calendar, because a calendar is finite and you might not be able to do all 20 of them today or this week or even this month, depending on what they are. But if you don't prioritize, then you'll never be able to decide what to do next. And you may be suffering from the paradox of choice. You got all these things to do and you might actually have some time, but since you can't decide what to do first, you waste a lot of it in deliberation. So you got to be a boss of your schedule. Priorities go first. Everybody else's shit goes second. So what are your priorities? Maybe your priorities are other people's shit. It depends on who the people are, right? Depends on who they are. Now, if the other people in your life are clients that are actually the source of your business, then maybe their shit actually is a priority. If you have kids and you're the one in charge, then maybe that's going to be a priority. Or whoever else could be a priority for you that you are responsible for handling their needs and their wants and their desires. They can be a priority. When I say other people's shit, I'm talking about other people's shit that has nothing to do with your food, clothing, shelter, or nothing to do with you paying your bills. All right, their shit does not come before your stuff. But you gotta know what your stuff is, so it's easy for you to say no to them because you're saying yes to you. You don't want to vacuum there. You're saying no to everything, but you don't even know what comes first. To prioritize priorities, you first have to have priorities. Your schedule must have a pecking order. What is number one? What needs to be done today? What can wait until tomorrow or next week? What keeps getting pushed back week after week after week, which might mean you probably don't need to be doing it at all, since you've never found time to get to it and it hasn't stopped you yet. It hasn't killed you that you didn't get to it. Maybe it doesn't even matter. Maybe you just delete that period. Maybe you could pass it off to somebody else. Here's how you choose priorities. The important things get done first. Now, what does that word important mean? All right, so for any of you who's relatively new to this show, all right, we make sure we define what these phrases mean, because people throw these words out, and if I got a different definition of what the word important means from what you have, then we could both be saying the same thing but have two completely different meanings and end up on two different pages in the same book, or maybe in two different books in the same library, or two different libraries in the same city. So let's get clear on what the word important means in this context. Here's what it means. It is leading you towards your chief aims. What are your chief aims? So you see how each one of these leads to another question that needs to be answered? What are your chief aims? What are the definite things that you want to achieve this week, this month, this year, this decade, in the next 5 years? What are they? If you don't know what these are, then it's hard for us to decide what's important, which makes it hard for us to prioritize, makes it hard for you to decide what to do with your schedule, which leads to other people controlling your schedule, using you to get their shit done instead of you using yourself to get your shit done, because you don't even know what your shit is because you don't have any priorities. So what are your chief aims, your definite chief aims? I talk about that in my book, The Mental Workbook, which is all about goal setting and conditioning your subconscious mind for your picture of what success is. You can get that mental workbook as part of the Mental Game Super Duper bundle when you claim your copy of my newest book called The Third Day at thirddaybook.com. On the second page, after you get to me, give me your information to send you that book, The Third Day. The second page, we're going to offer you the Bulletproof Bundle. That's 4 books. And the next page, we're going to offer you that Super Duper Bundle, which is 4 more books. So if you don't see it on the first page, you didn't miss anything. Just go through it. And on the third page, we'll offer you that 4-book bundle, which includes the mental workbook that I just mentioned. So what is your definite chief aim? From those aims, we can figure out what is important and what's not, i.e. the things that are moving you towards those aims and what is not. And then prioritize. What are the things that are going to move me closer to these aims this month, this week, today? And do those first. Everybody clear? Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is how to take control of your schedule. Be honest about time and your use of time. This is one that sometimes we all mess ourselves up with, especially us ambitious folks, when you're looking at your schedule. And maybe you get a a hit of inspiration and you're very motivated, you're activated one particular day. You set your schedule up for you to be Superman or Superwoman. You got an appointment at 8 o'clock, that's over at 8:45. Then at 8:46, you're going to do the next thing, and that's over at 9:30. At 9:31, you're doing the next thing, that's over at 11:30. Then 11:32, you're on the next thing. Then at 12:30, you're on the next thing. Then at 1:30, you're on the next thing. Then at 2 o'clock, you're doing the next thing. And you don't even give yourself a break to take a breath, to stretch, to go outside, to go to the bathroom, to eat food, to talk to somebody, to just decompress for 5 minutes. All right, don't do this. This is something that we often do with our schedules, setting ourselves up to fail. Because if you set your schedule up that way, then you're going to be looking at it at the end of the day and saying, damn, I got 8 things on here that I didn't get done. When if you had been honest about the way that you use time and about your own energies and capabilities, instead of putting 8 things on the schedule, you would have put 4 on there, got all 4 done, and you would have felt accomplished because you got them all done. So sometimes we set ourselves up for failure by putting ourselves in a position to try to do something that we are just not capable of doing. And not in any way that it means anything is wrong with you. It just means let's be honest about where we're at and what we can do. Do not schedule your day with back-to-back activities and thinking that you'll just pass on the bathroom, talking to coworkers, going to lunch, social media scrolling, etc. Right? Adjust accordingly based on who you are and what you know is going to happen over the course of a day. And here's the thing. You don't have to have this Superman perfect person schedule as long as you are prioritizing the things that matter most and are moving you closest towards your goals. Even if your schedule is not so perfectly tight, if all you're doing are the priorities, you are still going to be making consistent progress because you're working on the most important things every single day. See, it's not a matter of you working harder than you or working harder than other people to get further ahead in your life. It's about working hard on the right things. You don't even have to be working that hard if you're working on the right things because you have a high level of leverage. Many people work really hard on things that are just inconsequential. So even though they're working super hard, they're not really moving themselves forward because they haven't set themselves up for success. So you set yourself up for success by knowing your priorities, focusing on them, doing those things first, and everything else falls in behind that. You follow what I'm saying there? So make your adjustments accordingly. Give yourself a cushion in between tasks if and when necessary. Don't set a Superman schedule unless you can execute a Superman schedule. And most of the time, you won't because you can't. So don't plan to do everything back to back to back without taking a break to breathe. You know your days don't work like that. Look how your days normally are and set your day up for what you are actually capable of doing, not what your dream scenario says that you're going to do. And again, if your priorities are the first thing to go into that calendar, even if you only do 2 things all day, if those are 2 things that are help moving your life and your business forward, that'll be a successful day. You don't need to do 20 inconsequential things and kill yourself. Do 2 really important things and be satisfied and have breathing room at the same time. Again, this is all about the strategy and how you set things up. It is not necessarily about outworking yourself or beating yourself to death with effort. Is about giving effort to the things that actually matter the most, the high leverage activities. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is how to take control of your schedule. Batch all your repetitive tasks and get them all done at once, at least as best you can. Batching means taking something that you know you have to do a bunch of that can all be done at once and just doing it all at once instead of doing a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there. If you can take care of all of it at once, schedule time to do it and just take care of it. So it's done and you don't have to worry about it. It no longer has any load on your subconscious. It's no longer sitting there on your to-do list half finished. It's completely done. You took care of it. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Rarely, for example, you know this show comes out every single day. Rarely do I record just 1 episode of this show. Actually, I can't remember the last time I sat down to record and I recorded only 1 episode of the show. Usually I'll record at least 2 episodes, usually 3 or 4 episodes in a day I'll record of the show. Now the show comes out every day and I'm recording 3 or 4 every day, then how's that? Well, I got extra episodes. So if I decide to go on vacation or I lose my voice, God forbid, or whatever reason, there's a lot of noise going around, I don't want to record. I just don't feel like recording. I want to take a couple days off from recording just because I can, because I got extra material in the can that I've already recorded. But I never sit down and record just 1 episode. I always record more. I batch my recording so I have extra material already out there. And once I get in the flow of doing this, I want to batch it and do another one. Let me do another one. Let me do another one. Shout out to DJ Khaled. So that I can just take advantage of this energy streak that I'm on right there in the moment. So I never record just 1 episode. If I'm writing articles, I rarely do I just sit down and write just 1 article. I always record multiples or write multiples, at least 2. And there are times where I've recorded even 10 episodes in one day. That's a lot of talking to a lot of energy, but I have done it many times. Then I'll have those extras. So when I'm not recording for whatever reason, any emergency comes up, etc., then I got plenty already taken care of. Same approaches with anytime I need to make calls. When I'm replying to my text, any of you text me at my text number, I don't reply to just one text and then go keep doing other things. I go through and reply to all the texts until the inbox is empty, my text inbox is empty, and then I can move away from it. I batch and take care of all of that, maybe once or twice every single day. Emails to reply to. I don't reply to just one email. I go through and knock out all the emails in there that need to be addressed. Set a time for yourself when it comes to batching and handle all of those things at once. Put this on your schedule. Put it on your calendar. You can and you should even batch how and when you tend to other people's stuff and other people's schedules. I know many entrepreneurs who, and they're open about it, they say every single day, or it doesn't even have to be every day. It might be once a week. Some people it's 3 times a week. Some people it's twice a week. Some people it's every day. They set a time for when they go to their inbox and they address everything in their email. Or they go to their text and they respond to all the text messages that they've gotten and all the phone calls that they haven't answered. But during the day, if somebody's working, you can't call them while they're in the middle of their scheduled work time, working on priorities, important things. They're not going to answer the phone to talk to you. Not going to respond to your text talking about some gossip that you heard on Twitter. They are only going to focus on the important task. And this is why, again, it's not that they're necessarily working harder than you. It's just that it's not even about necessarily working smarter. It's just they're using a process and you're not. So is that smarter? It's up to you. You decide if that's smarter or not. You try the process and then you come back and you can give us a report. Was this smarter than what you were doing before? So often when people are producing more results than you more consistently, they seem to be moving at a faster velocity than you, but not killing themselves doing it, it's simply because they have a process for what they're doing and you are just doing things randomly. And even though you may be very talented and skilled at doing things randomly and still succeeding, you'll be doing it a lot better if you will put a process in place. This is the point of what I'm talking about here today. Well, at least one of them. You can and should batch your times to give time to other people. If people want to interview you or people want to have meetings, you should set certain days. Hey, on Wednesdays and Fridays are the days that I do meetings. So if you want to meet for lunch, it needs to be on a Wednesday or on a Friday. My next 2 Wednesdays and Fridays are booked. So 3 Wednesdays and Fridays from now, those are the times available to you. Or the one after that or the one after that, but no Sundays, no Mondays, no Tuesdays. That's the deal. You need to have a schedule that tight, especially those of you who make your own schedule. And actually everybody makes their own schedule on some level. Even if you work somewhere and they make the schedule, the time that you're not working there, you don't work there 24 hours a day, right? The time that you're not working there, you need to be clear about what you are doing with your time. For any of you who's doing any kind of side hustle and you need to find some time for your side hustle, I get a lot of you texting me, say you have the side thing that you're doing outside of your full-time work and you need to find time so you can do your things. Are you scheduling that time outside of work? If you're not, no wonder you haven't been able to get the traction you need because you haven't put the time in. You haven't put the time in to make the time for the thing that you say you need time for. Of course, you're not getting things done. So these are just some simple strategies that you can use to start taking control of your time right now. None of these require any specialized skill. None of these require any otherworldly talent that you don't have. None of these, I didn't introduce any vocabulary that you never heard of before. These are all things you are capable of doing. It just takes a certain amount of discipline. And then once you get the discipline to put it in place, the discipline to execute on it. Like I talk about in my book, The Third Day, like we just talked about in yesterday's episode. So let's recap today's class, which is how to take control of your schedule. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you another way that you can drill all of these home in a second. After I do this recap, taking control of your schedule. Since we talk about time a lot here, time being your most valuable resource, you run out of time, your game is completely over. So let's make sure we make the most of it. Point number 1, priorities rule. Be a boss of your schedule. Your priorities go first. Other people's shit comes second. To prioritize priorities, you must have priorities. Your schedule needs a pecking order. What's most important? What do you do today? What can wait? You choose priorities. Important things go first. Everything else comes after. What is important? Things that lead you to your definite chief aims. If you don't have definite chief aims, then you cannot decide what's important. So get the chief aims first. Read the mental workbook. I will show you exactly how to determine that. Point number 2, be honest about your time. Don't schedule your day with back-to-back activities with no breathing room in between. Don't set a Superman schedule unless you can execute a Superman schedule, and I haven't met Superman yet. None of us can do that. So plan your schedule based around priorities, and if you get a few priorities taken care of every day, that's better than doing a myriad of inconsequential, non-essential things and beating yourself up and working yourself to death doing them. Point number 3. Batch all your repetitive tasks and get them all done. Batch other people's priorities. Do them on certain days and at certain times. Do not allow other people to just jump onto your calendar or onto your schedule whenever they feel like it. Because if you're not respecting your schedule, then why would you expect anybody else to? All right, so this is the approach that you can use. Many people do this. They only respond to emails once a week, or they take 1 hour a day to respond to email. If you email them any other time outside that time, they're not going to immediately respond. And here's something that I've learned. When you stop immediately responding to people reaching out to you, they will stop expecting and being conditioned to expect you to immediately respond, and they will wait until you do respond, and they'll be okay with it. Nobody's ever died because you didn't respond to their text message fast enough. All right, so stop allowing other people to interrupt your schedule with their shit. Because if you allow other people to use your time as they wish, they'll do it. Not because they're malicious, not because they want you to be a loser in life, not because they're trying to stop you from succeeding, but because if you allow them to use your time, then they will. All right, why not? If you allow me to use your time, I'll use it too. Why not? Why not get an extra set of hands and extra 24 hours in a day working for me instead of working for yourself? You need to prioritize you, and other people will understand that because you are prioritizing you, they won't expect you to prioritize them. All this said, 2 things I want you to do. Number 1, text me to get my daily motivation text free of charge straight to your phone. My number is 305-384-6894. And number 2, I have a course called 25 Hours. It's my time control course, not time management, time control. You can get into the 25 Hours course when you join Work on Your Game University. It is one of the bonuses that I offer when you get into the university. By the time you hear this episode or see this episode, everything will be up at workonyourgameuniversity.com. As on the date that I'm recording this, I don't even have it all set up yet, but I'm putting pressure on myself here and creating a sense of urgency by telling you this. So by the time you hear this, which will probably be 3-4 weeks from when I'm recording it, it will be ready, and you'll be going to workonyourgameuniversity.com when this actually comes out, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I can already see it in my mind. I haven't done it yet, but you'll see it with your eyes. That's at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Join the university. You will get access to the 25 Hours course as a bonus. I'm going to throw in for free when you become a member of the university. Work on your game. Dre all day.